Okay, so Celtics Bucks with Middleton missing potentially the whole series. We'll see there. We'll also see if Budenholzer sticks to the Bobby Portis, Giannis, Brook Lopez three big guy lineup with Middleton missing games here. So the one time that Al Horford was healthy against the Bucks this season, they had him guarding Giannis, and the most interesting thing to me was that they had Horford drop whenever Giannis screened for Drew or Middleton, and then the defender of Drew or Middleton would stay on their back around the screen, and the idea was that you dare that guy to shoot a mid-range or whatever, and you don't give Giannis a runway. Horford would usually be there to meet Giannis at the free throw line pretty much. While this is happening, you've got Time Lord digging in off of, in that game it was Bobby Portis. My guess is that Time Lord will guard Brook Lopez in this series because I think he's a little easier to help off of than Bobby Portis is, because Portis shot 40% from three on 5 attempts a game this year. That being said, depending on where Brook is lingering around the baseline, the dunker spot or whatever, that's going to be difficult as well. And if he's going nuts from three, then that would not be ideal for your helping off of him stuff. Before I talk about more coverage stuff on Giannis, I just want to say that I would be very surprised if this defense impacted him the way that it did KD, because, Giannis is just not as vulnerable to physical defense as KD is, right? As far as plays where they screen for Giannis, I think it kind of depends on who it is. If it's Brook Lopez screening for Giannis in a half-court set, if you switch that, it's Horford now on Brook, and then I guess it would be Time Lord on Giannis if that was the original thing. There's always a chance Time Lord's on Bobby Portis instead, I guess. But if a smaller dude is screening for Giannis, I'm guessing it's either a switch, and now it's Tatum, Jalen, or Grant Williams on Giannis, and then from there it might be a double team, and then maybe you're daring Wesley Matthews or whoever to beat you. Or it's going to be some hedge on Giannis and then hope the original defender can get back to him, but that's a lot of moving bodies, and it could lead to Giannis just getting a runway to the rim. Of course, you're going to throw a lot of bodies at Giannis, and I'm wondering how aggressive the extra attention will be when Giannis is posting up or when he's got an ISO along the elbow or whatever. I'm guessing the guy in the opposite corner will most likely be left open. At this point, Giannis can make that pass. I'm not too concerned about it with him. It's more so a matter of, can he make that pass faster than the Celtics can get to who is now open in the opposite corner. With Middleton there, I think it made it a little tougher to do that, because if it's a swing to Middleton, it's not just going to be potentially a three, right? It's also going to be maybe a pump fake, take it off the dribble, take the next shot, keep the offense moving, whatever. It's a little tougher to do that if it's Grayson Allen, Wesley Matthews, Pat Connaughton, Bobby Portis. These guys are all talented. They have a place on the team, of course, but when Drew is the only other guy who can really keep the offense moving like that if they're not open for three, I do think with just the length of the Celtics and their ability to close out, it could get a little rough. Now, one offset of this could be for the Bucks. They just grab a million offensive rebounds because they're huge now if they continue to go with the Portis, Lopez, Giannis lineup. I mentioned Drew in that, and, again, in that one regular season game, if they're going to do that again where it's Horford dropping on Giannis, Middleton, or Giannis, Drew screens, then Drew could have an opportunity for the pull-up. There could be some off-ball actions for Drew. They'll do something like that sometimes, like along the baseline for him. I'm guessing the Celtics will switch a good amount of that, but potentially not all of it, depending on who's involved, and that could get Drew some momentum off ball. Again, he's been great for mid-range this year. He might have had his best offensive season, period, this year. But without Middleton, the Celtics can also load up on Drew a little bit more as well. For example, let's say Jaylen Brown is guarding Wesley Matthews a lot in this series. He's probably just not going to guard him that hard. You're just not as scared of Wesley Matthews now as you were 7 years ago. I'm also interested to see if Marcus Smart just goes all out on trying to slow down Drew, fighting around screens on him, picking him up half court, potentially full court, and what does that do to the Bucks half court offense? And when you've got that as well as everything Time Lord does off the ball, we'll see. If we can get to the Celtics offense, so again, no Chris Middleton, which means now I'm searching for who's the right defender on Tatum, and if it's Drew or Wesley Matthews, there's a height advantage for Tatum there. If it's Giannis, then you're not using him as a help defender. If it's Bobby Portis, that's just kind of weird, but I guess you could try that. My guess is that it's going to be one of the guards. The Nets had Bruce Brown on Tatum for a good amount of that series, so I think the Bucks will try something similar. And the next thing is, who is Brook Lopez guarding? Is he going to be guarding Horford and basically not guarding him, or is he going to be on Time Lord? And whoever he's not guarding, I imagine, is who Giannis will be guarding. And if you're going at Brook Lopez with Tatum, And if you are running, I'll just say Time Lord for the sake of it. If it's Time Lord, Tatum, handoff actions, if it's screens, and Brook Lopez is going to dare Tatum to pull up, go for the floater, how many of those is he going to take? How many is he just going to keep the dribble alive and then go into Brook Lopez and try to draw contact? I think I can say pretty much all of the same things about Jaylen Brown as well. But also, you're going to have Giannis providing help. And I mean, in the Nets series, I did a little count, and it was between Marcus Smart, Grant Williams, and Al Horford. The three of them took like 63 three-point attempts. And it's just, you're going to have to make some of those because this is what the Bucks do. They will load up inside. Drew Holiday is going to play around the free throw line a lot when he is guarding off the ball. It's going to be Giannis again digging in inside. They've got Bobby Portis for extra size if he's not going to be sticking to his guy. And, I mean, Tatum has grown so much as a passer, and if Time Lord can get free on dives to the rim, even with Brook Lopez playing drop, that'll be huge. Of course, the Bucks have also grown with using Giannis at center and not just having their big and drop all the time. So if it gets to the point where Tatum is just killing Brook in those screen plays, then Budenholzer will make adjustments. I mean, he did it last postseason. I'm going to assume he'd do it again. We've seen Brook play higher up on screens, so if they need to go to it, I think they will. We, of course, have seen the Celtics progress so much with Tatum screening and that leading to shots either for him or for other guys or forcing a switch, and then he's got a mismatch, and again, he's already going to have some height advantages here. I wonder if the Celtics will set extra screens, like maybe some Spain pick and roll type stuff to bother Brook when he's in that coverage to protect the basket. They could also attempt to have whoever Brook is guarding, whether it's Time Lord or Horford, my guess, at the top of the key or at the elbow and then cut action around that. You can also try doing that with Giannis's guy, and the idea there is it at least keeps Giannis away from the basket. It's just the Middleton piece, man. If Middleton does not play at all, I think the Celtics will win. If he was going to play every game, I think the Bucks would have won. But if it's going to be this in-between, then it starts to get a little tough. I mean, I guess to play the odds, I could say Celtics in 7. I mean, with the loss of Middleton, like they're losing an extra defender, especially against Tatum and Jaylen, and the Middleton-Giannis pick and roll, it's the best thing they've got.